So you can begin to see if you applied, here's how each one would work. What would be the negative effect of each sign doing drugs? Well, they'd probably go like this and they wouldn't do that, or they probably would. It can weaken the definition. It's healthy to have these categories functioning properly in your life. So the Taurus judgment of what they like, and the thinking and the practical thinking, and trying to think it through for themselves, that's their stubbornness. Leo, I know what I want. I know how I am. I want, it's going to have that leadership quality, the one to be noticed quality. So if you have someone with a Mercury and Leo and you're at a wedding and everyone wants to say something on the microphone, the Mercury and Leo is not going to give up the microphone. They're going to keep talking and talking and talking. Everyone's going to say, oh, come on. They'll hold it for as long as they can get attention. And Aries will go up and say one or two sentences and then get on with it. But the fixed signs, they'd hold in and be slower to get up, longer to deliver it, and slower to let go. Even Aquarius. Aquarius is much more strategic, plans everything. And it's very fixed in who's a friend, who's not, who's respecting my ideas, who's not. This is the Aquarian fixity. My team, who I know, who I don't know. The Scorpios, who's trustworthy, who's not. So these are just touching into these areas. But you can see them. It doesn't take long. As soon as you take people you know, you look at their charts, but just don't look at the whole, don't try to do one planet at a time and anchor it. So you, oh, look, they process like that. Is that true? Wow. Even if it's really different from you totally, it gives you the ability to go with your Mercury and communicate and ask questions that's reinforcing them in their way. Wow, that can open up a whole bunch of questions. So many people in marriages, they stop talking to each other because they don't get the curiosity, they don't pick up on the fact how people process differently, and that it's okay. So the third mode is the mutable. So this is, each sign has the cardinal, the first sign, the fix the energy of the season in the middle of the sign, then the adapting till it gets to the end of by the end of winter, we're really trying to do anything to get out of the house. We want, like, there's got to be a better way. I can't put up with this anymore. I got to get out of here. So the independence is screaming, but there's still a lot of complicated relations. So the Mercury, it's strong in Gemini and Virgo. These are all the signs where it can diversify things. So in Gemini and Virgo, it's following all the systems, it's making all the connections, it's really well coordinated, it's making sense of everything really quickly on an independent way. In Sag and in Pisces, they're more social. So it's thinking about whatever people, what's going on, and Mercury doesn't work so well going out. That's why we'll get to the rulerships, we'll see that. But the Sag and Pisces are more social, so there's a tendency of the Jupiter rulership. There's a tendency for Mercury in Sag and in Pisces to exaggerate and to distort what's really happening, to see too much and get disoriented by it, or to exaggerate from it. That's the opposite, to have the opinions about everything, but not all of the facts. So the Mercury in Gemini and Sag will have all the opinions or the morals and thinking about what's right or wrong, whereas the Mercury in Gemini and Virgo will be, they're just thinking how they are. It's not about what's right or wrong. It's just, this is interesting, that's not interesting. Make these associations. So they'll fight with each other. But all of them are always looking for multiple choices, or they're all perceptive manipulated. They can see how people will finish things, how people will respond to their questions. So they can ask the question they want to get the response they want. Their parents can say no when they're figuring out another way to get around it. It's very diversity, multifaceted mind, but it's not, because it's diversified and it's multifaceted, it's not consistent like the fixed Mercuries. It's always got to be interested in so many different things, and it can get disinterested in other things. It can start things, leave things going. It's always opening up new areas, or talking too much, or expressing themselves too much, or in too many different ways, but not always being consistent. For them, that's alive and interesting. For a fixed sign, oh, geez, that's flaky. For a cardinal sign, that's just, they're losing all their energy just to go do it. So this pushing something, being fixed on something, adapting or perceiving and manipulating things, these are the factors that come onto the Mercury and the mutable signs. So these three categories, so up to now we've had masculine and feminine, we've had the daylight and the nighttime, we've had dualities. Here we get three different qualities that get added in. So by the time you're projecting and reflecting your circumstances or the way you think, then you're going to either push it, be consistent, and hold on to it, or diversify and see as many ways as you can how to go. So anyone getting paid with the Mercury and the mutable signs, if they get paid by the word, they're going to make a lot of money. They won't stop talking anyways. But that wouldn't be good for the Mercury and the fixed signs. Okay. I mean, if you got a couple of kids, you got your wife, you got your husband, and you're looking at this, you sit there, it's like a cartoon going off. You're looking at, oh my goodness, you almost start laughing because you can see it. If you're seeing someone and it seems they're being the opposite of that, if it seems they got it in a certain way and they're not being that way, then go look closely and see how come. What would stop that? How come that's changing? And then you're getting an insight into the behavioral axis that you can guide someone better or maybe improve their lot by helping them align to their energies better. Because we can be somebody we're not. We can act like you can be an Aquarius if you want, or you can be whatever. You can try and act like that. You're not going to be as happy as you would be, or as accomplished as you would be, just being yourself. So you can see there's certain signs you could be quite content to be like other people and might be really aware of that. And there's other signs that they like greater signs that being like other people is not going to be the standard. If they see someone they like, I got to be as good as that or better. I'm going to do like it's not. They'll be competing, but not following. Either one can be a good influence. So some people that are very independent, they may have to have some teamwork or some sports or some group things to cultivate some awareness of team spirit, but they're still going to process independently their own ways because they're not going to follow the way other people might. So I found it very useful to do these categories in these layers in this sequence. To do the elements first, and then you can do the elements first, then the signs and that. But I found the order that we did this was the most insightful. You see, you can see each one, and each one adds on each other in a way that keeps developing. It's like building a totem pole or just seeing a whole mystique about something. It lets you see this depth of thinking, and just the two divisions were more clear than the three, but the three were distinct enough to embellish and show how the two divisions work, and the four divisions of the four elements, they come in and they're the next level around it. So there's a logic in how we're going at this. There's three signs of each element, right? So you have there's a cardinal, fixed, and mutable air sign. There's cardinal, fixed, mutable. So, but since they have the same element, they have a similar way of processing, but not similar as to freedom or responsibility or belonging or not belonging. They're just going to be communicative persons. So Mercury and Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, they'll be easy to talk to each other, be able to communicate because they each intellectualize ideas that are trying to make sense out of things and are quick to express what they're making. I want to tell you what I'm thinking. I think it goes like this. I think it should be like this. I think we can do that. No, I think this is the structure. So they might have different, one might be more responsible, one might be more social, one might be much more independent, but they're all going to enjoy each other's ideas without being threatened by them. So the need to express oneself and to communicate, that's really the air signs. That's Mercury is most comfortable in the air signs. But even there's the cardinal, fixed, mutable that we just dealt with. This is well, we know it's this, now they got to express themselves. They need to communicate. So what are they thinking? So when they're thinking wrong, oh boy, how do you get through wrong thinking to prove it right? You'd have to prove it with intelligence, with better ideas in these. It'd be hardest to prove things to the Mercury and Gemini because it thinks for itself and it doesn't think other people are as valid. But the Mercury is always intellectualizing, thinking, communicating, expressing, making mental patterns. So this is Mercury is very comfortable in these signs. Oh, where's the fire? I went past one. Oh yeah, fire was first. So the fire signs are the more direct impulse. I got to act on ideas. I got to put the ideas into action. I got to be known for my ideas. I got to make an impression with my ideas. People got to see how I'm best. So there's got to be a glory. And I wrote my book. I did my thing. I went on this trip. You know, there's a pride in the thinking. But don't talk down to me. If you talk down or put down or embarrass someone in Mercury and fire sign, their pride is going to be affected. It's going to affect their thinking. And when normally they're putting out, you'll create an enemy with someone if you're trying to fight them for putting it out.